The goal for everybody else is just listen, watch, see what you notice. I'm just stopping everybody's video. Okay, so Taz, do you remember what the first question is?
What's the problem?
Exactly, you nailed it. Go for it.
I just want to say we've got similar tones going on here.
Yeah, really, exactly the same.
We are. So, uh, okay. I think I always have this record that plays in my mind that's like, it's not okay to have fun. You have to work harder, make more money, study more. And it's just not okay to just have fun, more fun in my life. I always have to do more or be more. And um, yeah, I think that's the problem. It's like, why is it okay to have more fun? Do you enjoy um, the seriousness of life? Yes, I do like the seriousness of life. So, what's the problem with not having fun?
Excellent question. Perfect question. What is the problem with that? Why is that bothering her? And there we go. See, look at it. Watch. Two questions in. Look at it.
It's like there's really no problem with not having fun. I just put too much pressure on myself, maybe to be better or something. Are you comfortable with not having fun or getting to that level of fun that you have in your mind? I'm comfortable with it's like it's not acceptable or like I feel guilty or something. Like why? Like guilt, like I'm being selfish if I'm having too much fun, you know, because I have a child and responsibilities and things like that. Like I shouldn't want to have so much fun, you know.
What does she mean by fun, Taz?
That's a good question. You have a child. When you think of child, it's automatically fun, right? So what's what's your definition of fun?
Yeah, so instead of giving the interpretation of what you think should be fun, like having a child, don't impose that on her. Just ask her, so
Okay.
what's the fun that you're resisting? Or what is fun that you'd like to have more of? Or what are we talking about?
At this point, can I say that? Can I bring it up? Like, I relate to this a lot. So can I say this? Is it too soon to be saying that?
Well, as you get better in this practice, you can say a lot of things that we're not going to say right now. But right now,
Okay.
just stick to,
It's all about her.
yeah, and stick to least number of words inside of the question, just to train up that skill of, you know, of doing less.
Okay. So what is fun to you?
Yeah.
Oh, it's fun to me.
See, oh, that was such a good one. Did you see the shoulder? That was a great one.
That is so good. I want to say that I go back in time to when I didn't have any responsibilities and I could just travel the world like I used to do and carelessly not care about the future. That was really fun. Just live in another country and do this and do that. And, well, what's in you? Well, I feel like I have to be more. I mean, I have a 7-year-old daughter, so I have to, and I'm a single mom, so I have to just be like the mom and the dad at the same time. So that's always in the back of my mind. Like, I can't be that free spirited person that I used to be because I have to be a responsible mom all the time. You know, that's kind of what plays in my head.
Was that conscious or unconscious, Taz?
Unconscious?
What do you think? She gave us that explanation of, I have to be this person.
I feel like that's unconscious.
Yeah, and I think it was both because she gave us a little bit of a fluffy response, which is like responsibility, mom and dad, single parent. But then on the edge of it, I see the emotion attached. So it was like she's going towards it, but she wasn't quite willing to wager yet, which is fine. Just pointing it out because we're learning about subconscious and conscious and how they compare. So now what are you curious about?
Why can't you
have, well, it's going to be a lot of words, but what I'm curious about is why can't you be both the mother and father and have fun? Is
Yeah,
there like a fun way to do that?
good question.
That's interesting. Because I find myself in moments when I'm playing with my daughter, dancing around or just doing things that are fun. I'm just like, wait, I stop myself and look at dishes, dinner, blah, blah, like all that stuff, you know? And I'm like, okay. And she'll say to me something like, come on, mom, let's just dance more. Let's just do this more. And I'm like, okay. But then I'm like, but then who's going to do the dishes and clean the clothes and all that stuff, you know? And then like children, she's like, just forget about that. And I'm like, oh, yeah, but it doesn't get time, you know?
Is there a fun way you can do that?
Oh. Just not take the dishes so seriously and the meal prep so seriously. Like it's okay if she eats 10 minutes later, because I can be very like, okay, I can be very like strict on time. Like at this time, this has to happen. And, you know, and I get stuck in my head about these time things. So
Well, what
maybe
happens? Sorry.
go
Well,
ahead.
what happens if you don't do it on time?
Yeah. Like what happens if she goes to sleep at 9:10 instead of 9 o'clock? Right? It's so silly when I think about it.
It's not silly.
Uh, Like it's not that big of a deal. But for some reason, I just get stuck in that. Like nothing really will happen if she goes to bed at 9:10 or she eats dinner at a little bit later than the normal time. I think, I think I just got it. I think it's switching to this box mom role that has been hard for me the past 7 years. Is like jumps into that whole thing of like, well, if you're too free spirited, you're not like this good mom or something. Like that old you was like too reckless or just traveled the world, did whatever you wanted, but now you're this you and you have to be this way, which I never thought of until right now.
Can you travel the world and be safe and still have fun?
Well, then I do for my other job. I travel, like, you know, like I'm by myself for 4 days at a time and just do my sales job and whatnot. And I try to make that like fun because I'm like, oh, I'm free and I'm a kid and just doing my thing and working at the same time. So yeah, I guess I do it in a way. It just seems like then I come home and I'm like, oh gosh, now I gotta be her again. Oh no, you know, sounds so crazy. I'm like, I gotta be that serious person again, you know.
Do you have to be that person? Where'd you get that idea?
Where did I get that idea?
So just watch everybody in the audience. So when they go subconscious like that, I don't want to mess with it. I just want her to keep going wherever she's going because I don't know where it is. So I can't interrupt.
I think it goes back to being a kid, like growing up, which is gonna be a whole, I don't want to get too deep into it, but
Why
um
not?
I, I was always like put down for being the gypsy, open-minded, travel the world girl in the family. And I always got like kind of, but you have to be serious at some point. And I went the other direction, you know. So maybe somewhere inside of me, it's like it was just told to me that that's not the way to be or something when you're a parent. You know what I mean?
So
Do you agree with that?
what do you feel about that at this point? Now that you're an adult and you are a mother, what do you think of that indoctrination or lesson or whatever?
I think that's bullshit. I do. I mean, I think that I wouldn't want my daughter to feel that way. You know, that she has to be a certain way to be a parent. Like she should just be herself. And that's what I should just be myself.
Yeah, except for some part of you doesn't think that.
The part of me that says I don't want to grow up, I guess. Like I just want to be my playful, fun self, you know, that I know that is my essence, I guess.
So Taz, what do you know so far about Elise's problem?
So far, I know that she's struggling between growing up and staying young forever. And she's trying to find the middle ground, but she doesn't know it yet. I think you're trying to learn to be an adult, but not in your way, in the way that was taught to you. And it doesn't sound authentic to you, so you're struggling a bit.
Yeah.
And so what are you curious about why she's caught there?
Well, do you believe that to be true now? Can you be an adult and have fun?
I mean, why not? Like, I mean, yeah.
What's stopping you?
I see so many other people doing it. Just my own disciplined mind, I guess.
But
Like I don't.
Do you want to do what other people are doing?
No.
Why?
I want to do it my way all the time.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Yeah, instead of why, I much prefer what's wrong with that, because why is very conscious, right? But what's wrong with that is like,
You have to think.
yeah, well, it could go anywhere.
Yeah.
Or you could have asked it in an even more confusing way, which would have been like, well, why did they think that it was right, but you don't?
Ooh.
Wait, say the question again. I lost track.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do is just create these moments for her to go somewhere that she's not used to going. Well, why do you think those people thought that you had to be serious, but when it really comes down to it, when you look at it yourself as a grown woman, you don't think that? I mean, another way of asking it would have been just, were they happy, those people who thought that that was the way to be?
And that's a really good question because they're probably my parents who are very old. And yeah, I don't know.
That's it. That's right. Keep going. You're doing a good job.
Were they happy was the question? Are they happy?
Yeah, like, is this belief system that they have, which is you have to like be serious as a parent, did that serve them well?
I don't think so. I mean, when I look at my parents, I don't see like these happy people, extremely happy people. And then I tend to think like, is that even possible? Like, then my mind goes there, like, is it like a happiness thing? Like, I don't think that being really, really, really happy or excited about life is like the right thing to do or something. You know, it's weird.
So what is the right thing?
What is the right thing? It's a good question.
Take your time.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's no rush to figure it out. Take your time. So the way they did it didn't work. So just everybody who's watching, this is what you're going for, is this. Is just like she's just looking in her subconscious, like, okay, what's in there? What do I think of this?
It's like there's a part of me that thinks like I don't deserve to be like really, really happy or excited about life anymore because I have a responsibility and discipline, you know, which just seems like bullshit, you know, like where did that come from, you know?
So Taz, what did she reveal about her belief system?
She doesn't feel she's worthy of fun and good stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not because of your circumstances, right? Not because of anything else.
And it's interesting, right? Because the problem has already evolved from, oh, somebody else told me it should be this way, to now she's saying, well, even though I know that's nonsense, I still don't deserve it. So now we're at a different knot. So that's what we're doing, is untying one knot at a time. And I don't know what's behind this next one. I have no idea. But I'm just watching her subconscious take us there and follow that.
And then I think it also goes into like all aspects of my life in every way. Like I always ask myself, is that, do I really deserve that? Like when someone gives me a compliment, for example, it's like I can't take the compliment. I never believe them, I'm never like, it's really hard for me to take a compliment. And when someone said you're great or whatever, I'm just like, oh, thanks, but I don't believe you. You know what I mean? It's so odd. It's
So
just something.
what's not fun about that? What's not fun about somebody gives you a nice compliment, but you can't take it?
Because I should be able to like be like, thank you, wow, and feel it instead of just say thank you, wow. Like I say it, but I don't feel it. You know what I mean? I don't think yeah, I don't know what it is.
Do you all hear her voice change? It's a little bit like harder to hear. It's a little bit more spread out. There's the emotion part. So just patience now, just time. So Taz, what do you want to know? What are you curious about?
Um, do you give compliments?
Yes.
Why?
Because I see things in people that sometimes they don't see in themselves. It's just, I'm intuitively kind of can feel and see what people might need, and I like to give that to them.
So why is it okay for you to give that but not receive it?
That's a great point.
That's called a clashing reality, just so everybody knows. This is a hypnosis technique. Well, why do you
Yeah.
believe this and not this? And I just,
Maybe I don't think I'm good enough or something like that. Maybe that's like kind of what it comes down to. I don't think I'm good enough for that. Like, I don't know, an ego thing where.
Where do you get this idea?
so that to me is a conscious question. Where did you get this idea?
Okay.
So go with something that you're just curious about.
Why do you feel like you're not good enough?
So I'm avoiding why, because those tend to
Okay.
be conscious.
Mm,
So what do you know about her right now?
right now, I know that she's a very warm person. She likes to see the good in everyone,
Yeah,
but it's hard to accept that for herself.
right. Perfect. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
True.
And
I mean,
what I'm curious about is how did you get to this point where you started to feel like you're not good enough?
so
And
instead of a conscious question like, how did you get here? Because she doesn't know, because that's why she
mhm,
has the problem. You might ask
yeah.
her something like, when did you first notice that? When did you first notice that it was hard to take a compliment? Or when did you first notice that it was hard to have fun?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when did you first notice that it's difficult to have fun?
When I gave birth to my daughter.
Was that a bad experience?
Sounds bad, but no, it wasn't bad. I mean, no, it wasn't a bad experience. It wasn't a planned experience, and it was, it just happened. I got pregnant, and it wasn't something I dreamed of always having in my life. It just arrived, and I had to kind of tap into, okay, this is my reality now.
So did you lose your fun right then and there? Was it instantaneous or what happened?
I wouldn't say it's. I think my brain just like shut off and was just like, now do this. Like now your job is to be I don't know, what it's like when you have children, Maya. I don't know, in some
Yes.
way. Like now your job is to be the food, the this, the that, the that. So I'm a very like black and white kind of person in that way, I guess.
You know, it's funny you called me into that and said, well, I must understand that, because actually I think my job as a mother is to be a model of joy. I actually think that's my most important job above feeding and all the rest of it, which I will do because I'm not a, you know, I'm just going to. So I'm interested in that idea that you thought that I would have given up my joy, because
I
I don't.
meant like
I
I
don't
meant
actually.
like I meant like as a mom, maybe you could understand some of that, like from the first day of birth.
Yeah, and I'm saying I find that interesting because I feel the opposite responsibility. Like, oh, my job is to lead the family joy, because how will the kids learn it if they don't learn it from me?
Yeah, right. That's good.
And I am curious to know, just overall, what do you feel right now?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I feel right now.
And so what do you think of the problem right now? What's the problem?
I'm not sure what the problem is.
Yeah, I know it's weird, right? I know.
It's so
I get
hard.
it.
I
I know.
mean, I don't really know that. It's a really good question.
And this is such a beautiful moment, right? Because she has it all going on wrapped up together, the joy, the confusion, the laughter, the uncertainty, a little bit of sadness. I see all of it going on at the same time. That's subconsciousness.
Mhm.
So you know that what you're doing is working, so to speak.
I never really thought about any of this stuff,
Yeah,
you know,
right. Isn't
at
it so?
all. It's
Yeah.
funny because I was like trying to think of some problem, and I am in the midst of our conversation when you were talking before. I was like, oh yeah, why why don't I want to have fun anymore? Like, why don't
Yeah,
I think
I
it's
know.
okay anymore?
I know. Well, what do you think of it now that you've given it a little time here with us? What do you think of it now?
I think that it's like the most important thing in life to just like I find myself always trying to lift people up, you
Right.
know, like that's what people say to me, like, oh, you know, you're so easygoing and you come to a place and I just feel good around you. And I'm like, why do people say that to me, but it's not okay for me to actually feel that, you know?
So she just gave us such a beautiful inroad there. She said, and it's the most important thing. And so I will just pick up on exactly what she said, her own words, and ask her, well, why is it important? You see how I don't have to bring anything except for what she brings? She just told me how important it is. So all I need to ask her is, well, why? Why is it important to you? Why do you think joy is so important? And now she's going to give us a really important answer that means a lot to her. I can tell. Watch.
Because if you don't have joy and happiness and you're missing out in life, you know, like, I don't know, you just, if you can't radiate that or feel that or share that, then what's the point, you know? Uh,
Yeah. Why is it
and
important in
and
parenthood?
not like I have to feel that all the time, but
Right?
just the actual overall feeling, you know,
And why is it important in particular as a mother?
for my daughter, you
Yeah.
know,
What's
for her to feel that. Like I know that she can feel it from me, but for her to like experience it with me, you know, because I think try. I think like all the other things that I show to like support her and like all the little things that have to be done, I put more importance in them than actual being with her and just like enjoying the time, you know, that she's with me. Then she goes with her dad and stuff like that.
so what's at stake for you right now in terms of if you had more joy, what would you stand to lose? What's at
Mm.
stake?
What would I stand to lose? The stupid timing of the whatever. the timing of bed and brush your teeth and get to school on time and all that stuff that really
Stuff you don't really care about that much.
like, I mean, it's okay if you're 2 minutes late to school, you know?
Right. Is it
Like,
okay? Is that okay?
yeah, and yeah, it's okay. I just have a time thing. I'm like, I have to be on time or early, you know? I don't even know where that came from, but I'm letting that go.
And so what do you stand to gain from letting it go?
More moments of just freedom and joy and just being in the moment, because that's what really children, my daughter in particular, loves most, just to be laughing and smiling and like having a good time. Yeah.
And by the way, everybody, when it comes to kids and parents and spouses, I would always ask their name. I won't do it right now because it's a recording, but I always ask their name because I want to ask in particular, how would, Samantha feel about blah, blah, blah. Okay, so Taz, where are we right now? What do you think is going on in terms of this problem being solved?
I think she's coming around and she's realizing that it's okay to let go a little bit. And my question is, you said your daughter knows how to have fun and likes to have fun. Do you think it would enhance that experience if you joined her?
How about
Yeah.
when you join her instead of
When you join her? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. For example, like she always wants to have dance parties. And I'm like, sometimes like, I'm like, yes, yes, yes. And then I'm like in the middle of doing dinner and all this stuff that doesn't matter. And I'm just like, wait a minute. And she's like, no, now. And I'm like, and the times that I do it in the moment, she's just so happy. And like, I'm just like, we're just dancing and having fun. It doesn't matter, you know? And then like, I see myself go from like subconscious or unconscious to having fun to like drawing myself back to the serious mom that I have to be or something. Like I watch my own self and just laugh at it. It's like, get back here. And I feel like that's my subconscious mind. Like, get back here, you know?
Do you feel like you can find a balance of when to be fun mom and when to be serious mom?
I think I should. I think I can.
Is that easy?
I have to.
Do there need to be categories? Do you have to be one or the other? See, I'm always wanting to challenge, why do people think these things? Like, where did she get the idea that there has to be one or the other?
Yeah, that's to the point. I don't know where it came from. I think that comes from my upbringing, which we won't get into.
So
Long story.
does it have to be binary that way? Like, oh, now I'm being serious mom, now I'm being fun mom?
Well, my mom was very not fun at all, too. So she was just all serious and
So
stuff.
there was no fun mom in her. Well, but so in terms of you, do you need to have a hat that represents each one, or is there a way to just be Elise
Yeah.
who has a bit of both and some other stuff too?
Yeah.
What does that feel like?
More like myself, you know, more like I just want to be the free spirited mom. Like that was.
Yeah, right.
So I just want to, yeah.
When are you going to become the free spirited mom? When is my favorite question, by the way. Yes, when?
I just have to. I think I just am that.
Right.
I just accept it, you know, and not hold it back, because I think it's there. I just hold it back. Is the way to say it.
Well, what do you feel when you say I just hold it back?
I feel like I consciously hold it back. That's kind of what I thought. Like I can see myself stop myself. And it's like, why? That's kind of what I feel like. Why would I do that? You know, why wouldn't I want my daughter to like see the fun mom all the time or something? You know?
Yeah, that's right. Why
regardless of what we're doing. You know?
So let me ask you this. Will you know when it's important to do something like on the serious side? Will you know that, oh, like I need to do that right now?
Oh yeah.
Like, are you worried in any way that you would forget that?
No. Uh-uh.
So the serious part of you is always there in
Yes.
terms of safety, in terms of security, providing, etc.
Yes. Yes. That's kind of like an automatic, you know.
Yeah, right.
I think I'm just giving it more attention than it needs, you know. It's like
Right.
at the moment that I gave birth, it's just there. So I should give more attention to this, the other part. It's something I never thought of. You know?
Yeah. And what will your life be like now that you've thought of it?
And now I feel like more aware that I don't have to work at being like the serious discipline or whatever mom. Like she's there, just work on the fun, this flourishing the fun, easygoing, which I think I do a really good job. I just think I could do better at
Right.
to be more balanced. Like it's kind of like serious mom starts to take over, and then like happy go lucky mom's like down here. But I think it needs to kind of like get to here, and I think I can do it because
Yeah.
now I acknowledge that that's the way it is.
Well, what do you need to develop in yourself so that that becomes super easy for you?
Just letting go of
Nice, nice. Letting go. I like
yeah,
that. Letting go of what?
letting go of this idea of what a good mom is or a good caretaker is.
Taz, do you believe her that she's there now, that she did it?
I don't know.
Yeah. How do you feel about it? Where are you on this?
Me?
Yeah.
I feel like we're making good progress. I think she's starting to realize that she needs to find a balance, and how to get started on that is what I would want to know.
So, what resources has she told you she's found in herself to go in that direction?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. I heard her say, like, letting go, not
Yeah,
watching the time so much, not giving so much of a shit about what it's supposed to look like or what it's supposed to be or any shoulds or woulds or whatever.
yeah, I heard that one too.
The piece I haven't heard her resolve yet, though, is what? Or I mean, maybe she's resolved it, but I would check on it because I'm curious.
So is my question valid where I say like what is the first step to getting there or to finding the balance?
Yeah, and tomorrow, or I can't remember when I'm teaching that, but at some point I'm going to teach you all. I love to ask people, so what's the smallest thing you're going to do to make this permanent or make it stick? So that's a
That's a
good
good
question.
question. That's a really good question.
Yeah. And so maybe before I ask that, I'll ask the piece that I just wanted to clear up first, which is, so do you deserve to dance and have fun and party it up and be yourself?
Oh yeah, why not?
Yeah. Are you sure? Is there some part of you that is not yet convinced, or are you quite sure now?
Yeah, I'm sure.
How does it feel to just accept that you do deserve to be whoever you want to be and have fun and enjoy your parenthood and your motherhood?
um, yeah, I think that's good.
Nice. Okay, so then Taz, go ahead and ask her. So what's the smallest thing you can do to make sure it sticks?
So what's the smallest thing you can do to make sure it sticks?
Like next time my daughter asks me to have fun with her, just do it. Like, don't make an excuse that I have all these other things I have to do.
Are you going to put a time limit on yourself when you start having fun with her?
No. Mm-mm.
And just so you know, Taz, you're now future predicting like stuff you haven't learned yet, but maybe you know it, somehow
Am I psychic?
subconsciously. Yeah, you're psychic. Because what Taz just did, and I'm going to teach you guys how to do this, is she's just testing it. She's making sure that what she's worked on today is durable. So the test was, okay, so next time it's 9 p.m. and you're still, in your socks and PJs, whatever, dancing, will it matter? So just a test to check her. Like, well, when that does happen, then what will you do?
When
That,
you see the dishes in the sink.
that does happen a lot at 9 and 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what
Yes.
do you do?
That was such a sweet moment, subconscious moment right there. Did you see it, everybody? How she just like went into that moment, like, yeah, I do
I
love
was
that.
thinking because it happened last night.
Yeah, saw it.
And when you said socks, she was like running around in her socks and she slipped and fell. And
Yep. That's remote viewing, everyone. So I just say something that I know is on the other person's mind. So when you have that feeling of like, I know what they're thinking, just say it because they're going to be like, wow, how did you know that? Like, why did I say socks? And she was thinking of socks, like,
yeah,
right?
I'm always like, don't run around in your socks because you're gonna slip and fall.
Right. That's serious mom, right? Serious mom doesn't want people to dance in socks, but fun mom, is like, you can wear your socks, put
Why?
them on
Because
your
I
head.
skate around, you know? Like,
Exactly. What
ice
do I?
skating. I'm like, you're right. We live in Florida. We know ice skate.
Exactly. Right.
um, so yeah.
Yeah. So next time she's skating around in socks and being all kid-like, what are you gonna feel?
Happy for her. And just
Yeah.
kind of join her more in those moments. You know what I mean?
So what do you think of the problem?
I think that we discovered it. And I'm happy like now that I saw both sides. I think now I can work on just enjoying the moments more.
Are you comfortable to come back to the group and talk about it right now?
Sure. Yeah.
You feel ready?
Mhm.
Taz, do you have anything else that you're wanting to ask or say?
No.
Amazing job, you guys. Look at that. That was another time record of problem solving.